Good evening, everyone. This is Henry Gambell with SimplerOptions.com, and it's a nice video. I wanted to take a look at PayPal. So, PayPal has had its share of very volatile swings over the course of the past several sessions, but one of the things that I saw in it that was kind of unique was just a spot where it has actually recreated something that I look at quite often, and it's just a representation of fractals in the market. So I talk about this a lot in the chat room, and the question comes up a lot, like, what do you mean by that exactly? And this illustration here does a pretty decent job. Now this should be centered pretty much in the center of your screen. And just what I like pointing out is that if you consider that this type of a pattern is just a small part of a larger pattern that completes the same thing that you're seeing in here, it helps complete the idea of what we're doing with these Fibonacci retracements, and why I always find that the 618 retracement is so important to me. So you can see how these patterns, as you drill into them, replicate each other almost identically, or that's the whole point, is that they are identical. And then once you start to see that, and you start to find that in the markets, I think it's very fascinating. So the first part that I would like to point out is that once we saw the initial correction in PayPal, so we had this big drop, the big flush down below the 21 EMA that pretty much stopped out anyone that is using a stop below this low of 37.48. Okay, so you flush all them out, and then we start to retrace the move. Inside that, from the previous swing high into our swing low, notice how we paused exactly at the 618 retracement. We made it through the 382 and the 50, and then paused right at the 618. Okay, well then as it starts to pull back from that level, you just flip your analysis and run this from swing low to swing high. And this is what I think is interesting about this, and hopefully for those of you that have been looking at the buy side of PayPal, I think it gives you a little bit more hope that this may actually work out, because you'll notice that this one didn't actually tag the 618. It came very close to it, but it actually ended up holding the 50% retracement, which is a little bit more beneficial to bulls, but still a very important point to watch how important that 618 retracement was. Now the third point, and where I thought this was such a great example, is because then if you'll take swing high to swing low here, notice again, this is the third time. You clear the 382, you clear the 50, but one more time, we have paused at a 618 retracement. So when you see something and someone will tell you, oh, this is right up against resistance or it's right against support, it really comes down to your time frame and what your expectation for the trade is. So to make a long story short, if you get into or if you're watching PayPal on Monday and it can do a good job of clearing this level, which I show being at 39.42, I think that will start to help the bullish side of this. I'm not all that interested in playing it. I'm looking for a little bit better confirmation, and what I'll use is a shift of the parabolic SAR, and then also a shift in the momentum of the squeeze. Those are the two main things I'm looking at, but just a really nice respect of 3 618 retracements, and something that I think is worth incorporating in your analysis as you try to perfect your entries and exits. So I hope you find that helpful. It's something I'll be watching on Monday morning, and then I will see you at the next free video.